Thank the member and call the member for Eden-Monaro.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker, and I am grateful for the opportunity to speak on this motion and support all of the sentiments in it that commend our farmers and the heavy lifting they're doing in relation to our economy. But I do take issue with any claim that the government's been giving them the actual support they need for the future. Now, I fully endorse a lot of the comments we've heard from the speakers. The member for Cowper talked about the dairy industry doing it enormously tough, and we do need to seriously get down and look at how this industry is regulated, the way Parmalat, Fonterra, the big processors interact with our farmers. You should not be forced to take a lower price for a product you produce than it costs to produce. This market is not working properly. And I know that the member for Gilmore has raised this issue repeatedly as well, but I would say to both the member for Gilmore and the member for Cowper, you're in government, so let's actually get on and fix it. And I'm sure you'd get a lot of bipartisan support in addressing that issue. And we've heard about invasive species. Well, that is a critical issue, particularly bad in my patch. We've heard about the deer, but yeah, we've got all of that, and the pigs, and but also in the plant space in terms of serrated tussock, African lovegrass, St John's wort, and particularly fireweed down on the coast, which is a toxic weed that's very dangerous to the animals. We need to put much more effort into that space. We know it costs our industry billions of dollars a year. But the government haven't helped in so many ways. I mean, it was farmers that were coming to me in numbers at all of the country shows that I was having stalls at that were screaming for a Royal Commission into banking. And how long did it take people to wake up to that? Why weren't those country members of this parliament on the coalition side just forcing the government to take that issue seriously? I give credit to Senator Williams, who really fought that battle for a long time, but he was a voice in the dark in the coalition. And it was farmers who were calling out for that, and they were ignoring them. And then we have, of course, the gutting of the APVMA. Now, you know, we've lost 30% of the scientists of that organisation. It's this organisation that's going to help deliver the science and the research that we need to come to grips with these difficult and challenging conditions, and they've been absolutely crippled by this crazy decentralisation policy. We've also had other measures that have hurt regional Australia, and that is why you saw a 30% swing in Wagga, why you saw 30% in Orange, why standing on the booths in Gundagai I saw a 43% swing there. They're not listening to rural and regional Australia. That's the basic takeout from what's going on out there in these results. It's happening and they're not paying attention to it. Now, one of those examples of not paying attention is what's happening to the councils in my area. We've seen this program to support councils in drought-affected areas. Not one of the 6 councils in my region received that assistance, and we had areas classified as intense drought. In the Bega Valley, in the Monaro, it's really disgraceful that this has been allowed to happen, and it goes back to, I think, that former minister politicising a lot of programs in his portfolio. We saw the Regional Jobs Infrastructure Program where $18 million went to Gilmore, $1 million went to Eden-Monaro, and now he's gone, and this is another reflection of where bad policy is being played out here because of the chaos, confusion and dysfunction in the coalition side. So we've got a new minister now. All of the correspondence and the lobbying I put into the previous minister to address this situation, well, we've got to start again. And I've had no response to the correspondence I've put to Senator McKenzie to deal with this issue of the unfair treatment of my councils. And I can tell you, my mayors are not happy about this at all. So they're not listening to rural and regional New South Wales. Now, this drought issue, we've talked before about climate change and the need to get to grips with this. One of the things they've really hurt our farmers with was in killing the Clean Energy Future package, they took away the whole market dynamic behind the carbon farming initiative, which was going to help our farmers diversify income on their properties through a whole range of measures. Now, I've had meetings with farmers in Yass, community forums there, in Cooma, just had a meeting with farmers, beef and sheep meat growers down in the Bega Valley. They are screaming for assistance in coming to grips with these dry conditions. Now, I've heard members on the other side say, don't lecture to our farmers. Well, I'm telling you, the farmers are happy to receive support. Now, the farmers in the Monaro, that formed the Monaro farming systems in the millennial drought, reached out and got help from the CSIRO, who gave them a modelling computer package to enable them to design a 50-year strategy for their properties to help them work through these difficult cycles. But we're seeing these incredibly changed conditions. The fires in the Bega Valley have been enormously challenging, burning out pastures, and they're screaming for climate change to be dealt with seriously by this government. These are farmers saying this, so do not ignore them. Start
The
listening.
member's time has